Good morning, good afternoon, welcome back. Another exciting year of Torah. Woohoo! Um, get right to it. So, back to bereshis. We actually had an interesting incident in shul. A non lefty was doing Hagba and was kind of shaky. Did not fall, Baruch Hashem, but thank God we're okay. Maybe it's a lesson we should be careful with the Torah, learning Torah, mechazik Torah. You can read what you want into it either way. We don't have to fast, and we're okay. So it's an interesting question that Pri Tzaddik talks about, which no one really gets into it too much, but we always wonder what would the world be like if Adam didn't sin, Chava didn't sin? Would we live forever? So that's question A, that, were they forgiven? Did the tshuva take place? Were the Jews on a higher level back by Har Sinai, then they lost it at the Egel? Where does this go in there? Because we know that Adam was forgiven. We know the Medrash talks about that we say Tilim Sadi Beis on Shabbos, Tolos Hashem. Adam was thanking Hashem. Adam thought it would be all over. He do the sin Friday, and thought that was going to be all over for him. And when the sun comes up on Shabbos, he understands that he was forgiven. The tshuva, Hashem forgave him. So there's a concept of tshuva. And also, Adam lives for almost 1,000 years. So there's definitely tshuva, because if Adam would not have been forgiven, there'd be no day 2. And Havoch, there's year 1,000, come on. So what takes place? Did Adam do tshuva? And if he did tshuva, why does this gzeira of death, why is it gone? Why is it not gone? Why can't we live forever? So the Gemara talks about that, bring up these questions. Maybe it was only tshuva biyachid, and only tshuva b'rabim works, but Adam was encompassing all the Jewish people. So theoretically, Adam doing tshuva was like doing tshuva for all the people, because he was the kolel, all the people. So what's really happening here? So the Pri Tzaddik brings down that there's a word, an interesting word, when Adam says, I did a sin, v'ochel, he doesn't say, I ate. I did a sin from the tree and I ate. It says v'ochel, and eating. So the Pri Tzaddik wants to say that what Adam did was something that could be fixed that easily, or really without help of Hashem, in a perfect state. What Adam did by eating the Eitz Hadas before he had the Torah, whether maybe he should have waited until he had Torah, then eat Eitz Hadas. So instead of putting Kedusha in all the food, he put this Hanos Haguf in all the food. So by looking at food in the guise and eating all the food in the guise of, I'm hungry, it looks so good, what can I do for myself? All of a sudden, every eating from then to the end of time, there's this part of Hanas Haguf, which is something that we still need help to fix, and we really can't get rid of. There's nobody on this planet that says that they don't get any pleasure from food. And this is something that is an ongoing thing. So even though Adam was forgiven, he's allowed to live, and he has children, and lives for about almost 1,000 years later, this is something that cannot be fixed. And the only couple of people that were able to be perfect in this way, and one is Yaakov. Yaakov didn't take any pleasure for himself. That's why it says Yaakov lo meis. And also Rebbe, Yehuda Nasi, which is interesting, coincidentally enough, in this week's Daf Yomi, that talks about that Rebbe, who was the Nasi, who was the Gadol Hadar, very wealthy, very powerful. He testifies on himself. He never took any pleasure for himself more than a pinky's worth, whatever a pinky's worth is. And that's literally from a few days ago, Gemara. So even though Rebbe had many servants, and the Shivcha, his servant, said, he's going through so much pain, we shouldn't daven for him anymore, and did this whole elaborate scheme that people should stop davening for a second to allow him to die. But Rebbe didn't die. So Yaakov was perfect in this way. Yaakov lo meis, Rebbe lo meis, and even Akadei Kach, The Gemara from a few days ago, Gemara doesn't make this connection, but I thought it's obvious, is that the Gemara says that Rebbe came back every Shabbos and made Kiddush. So Rebbe came back, his neshama came back, his guf came back, whatever that means exactly, but Rebbe every Friday night came back to his house, even after he was dead, and said Kiddush. And I think the connection's there. We kind of look at Shabbos and we say, well, I eat the same amount on Shabbos. I also enjoy my food. So how come during the week eating food is hanas aguf, but Shabbos is different? And Shabbos I can eat as much as I want, drink as much as I want. And again, the point is yes. You're eating food hanas aguf, but it's encompassed in Shabbos. It's encompassed in Shabbos. So perhaps that's why Rebbe came back on Shabbos, because Rebbe didn't enjoy from this world hanas haguf, except perhaps for Shabbos. And this is why the Gemara says Rebbe came back to this world after Tchias Mesim. Every Shabbos, Rebbe came back. So this is something that we have to kind of think about and talk about, is how we look at the week, how we prepare for the week, and how we prepare for Shabbos. Do we spend enough time focused on Torah things? How much time do we spend on food things? And to think about the perfect state. We mentioned this on Pesach time. The perfect state is fruit, as opposed to vegetables. Why? I like vegetables. Carrots I like better. Well, for vegetables, for bread, you have to prepare. The difference between fruit and vegetable is fruit, the tree is fine, it just has to get more fruit by itself. You just got to water it. Vegetables is different. You take the carrot, it ain't going to be there next year unless you do something to plant it again, another carrot. That's a big difference. Adam had everything. Adam really had everything. All he had the mitzvos. All he had to do was eat from the stuff he was supposed to, stay away from Eitz Hadas. That was it. It was going to be easy street for him. You follow Hashem mitzvah say was that, mitzvah lo say was that. Easy street. Eating off a tree, you don't have to plant anything. You don't have to grind anything. You don't got to mill, zareya, kotzer, all that stuff. Nothing. Just pick the stuff off the tree. So Adam had a chance to take kedusha and put that into the food. Instead, the opposite. He took his hanas haguf, his taivas, and he put that in everything. And hopefully we get to that point. And Mashiach comes. That's why Shabbos, we can eat the stuff, but we know it's washed or it's encompassed enmeshed, that's a better word, enmeshed in kedusha and Shabbos, as opposed to eating food that's enmeshed in pleasuring myself and pleasuring my hanas haguf. And hopefully we take this lesson. Hopefully it's a new year. We look at things, we look at life a little bit differently. We just finished Sukkot. We finished, spending a good week and change outside, not focused on the walls, not focused on strong olam hazen gashmis, but things that are kadosh. We spent a couple of days, one day here, 2 days for y'all, Simchas Torah, focusing on what's important, focus on what's closest to Hashem. It's only after being in a sukkah 7 days without your stuff, you can focus on Hashem, and we could be Mischadish Torah, we can get new Chedushim Torah, be close to Hashem, and it's really a focus on Ruchniya stuff, and not Gashmis, that will be close to Hashem. Hopefully, this is the start of a new cycle of the Torah, where again, we can focus on Hashem things more, and even if we eat on Shabbos, we should eat Pikadusha to be more spiritual. Shabbat Shalom.